Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear me? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. How's everybody going out there? Sick. All right. I'm just checking something really quick. There's this. Yes. Okay. And then there's this. Oops. Ah! What is happening? Okay, let's see. Okay. Something else I wanted to see here. Strange. Oh. Okay. I think I got all this stuff here. Let's see. Bring back G, huh? Really interesting. I mean, he was already just in Street Fighter V, right? Might take a little bit. One second, checking something here. Oh man, all right, here we go. This is what I'm looking for here.
Just amazing story that happened here. This just warms the cockles of my heart. Tournament there, you got first place. But that's not the story. Keener, 14 years old right now or something?
Excuse me. Oh God. I need to do some. What am I trying to do here? What am I trying to do here? Ah, my brain is melting. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Okay, yeah, okay. God, I hate this. It's like every time I'm like, oh wait, I want to do what now? And it always just goes that way. Okay, do that, do this. Here we go, that's good. Let's put this over here. And what am I trying to do? Interesting. G actually got you back into Street Fighter, huh? You just really like the character, huh? Interesting. Now, what the hell was I trying to do again? Crap. Okay. Hang on. Focus, James. Focus. Focus, James. Focus. Where am I looking for? This is what I'm looking for? No, that's not what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, no, that's not what I'm looking for. What the hell? What the hell? Okay. What's this? Oh, that's this stuff over here. I see. So the mistake that I have over here is here I need to do that. There we go. Okay. And then come over here. Well, I don't know if you saw, but I'm definitely not happy about Ingrid, so. Ceola, is that what they're calling it? Because there's already the Ebola virus. I thought they would have called CEO something else. But apparently I'm okay. Apparently I'm okay. I don't feel anything weird. Oh, thanks, Zip. Thanks. I mean, I keep saying that. I think this year would be a good opportunity for a reunion. You know, maybe this year at Evo have a Say Jam Jay Chenzor reunion kind of thing. Be really, really cool. Especially because I feel like Mike, I'm sorry, Mike, Yipes, would probably really like to do top 8 for MVC2, right? So I think it would have been a great chance to do that. Gin and tonics. God, you'll have to remind me again. Where did we meet? Shoot, I'm so bad with names and faces, I apologize. Let's see. Yeah, Petty. I mean, I was glad that I got to do the top 48 though at CEO. Top 48 is arguably, one of the more fun blocks because it's all top players and you see like a huge variety of them. So it's actually really cool to see that, Dude. Oh my God, it was so good. I guess some people were kind of upset at it, but I thought it was great. Dude, I love commentating with Yipes, man. I haven't commentated with Yipes in forever. I even said that on Twitter. Oh man, I have not commentated with him. Well, I did at Frosty Faustings. We did do MVC2 together, which was cool. But I really, really would like to do more, so. Oh, okay. I forgot that was your handle. Okay. Cool. Oh, man. Okay. That's true. I want to check something here. Have you noticed that other content creators have come out and basically said the same thing you said weeks ago about simple inputs? What have they been saying? What have they been saying? Yeah, I mean, I can't even remember faces, especially when, you cosplay and suddenly, transform into another human being and I'm super confused. Oh, man. Because for a while, you were saying hi to me and I was like, God, like, they know me, but like, I can't quite. Because obviously at Texas Showdown, very, very different situation there. So simple inputs makes things more complicated. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Basically, that it makes it more complex in a different way due to needing to add more to your mental stack and also limiting the number of specials you can do. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm always ahead of the curve. I talk about everything super early. So, and then everyone's like, you're an idiot, James. And then weeks later, everyone's talking about it, exactly the thing that I was talking about. So all I can do is just smile and nod. That's all I can do. Smile and nod. Oh, man. Ooh. Oh, man. Okay. Hey, Rachel, how you doing? How you doing? A lot of people jumping in here after having the high of, I gotta tell you, man, CEO 2025 reinvigorated a lot in my soul. To be honest, man. I'll talk about that a little bit later on, but oh, it was a fun time there. Oh man, great tournament. What's the phrase? Great tournament, great experience. I think it is. I think that's what the the phrase was at one point in time. Well, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say holds up because it definitely had a few issues in the past few years, but it has definitely returned to full glory. Dude, Artemis, like, you know, it was a great tournament when every time I saw you, you looked like sane and calm and not as if you were just running through a giant herd of like, rampaging, velociraptors and stuff. Oh, okay, that's fair. Okay. So you weren't actually doing a lot of the work there. Okay. M. Paul Weeks. This is Paul from Scramble Heart City. Thanks again for taking. Sorry we couldn't chat more. No, don't even worry about it, man. Like, actually, I was gonna talk about your game a lot today, interestingly enough. So, if you want to stick around for a little bit, I'll definitely get to that in the second topic here. But yeah, okay, I think I'm ready to go. Actually, give me guys 1 second. I'll be back in a second. Just gotta pee real quick, and then I'll be right back. Sorry, just doing a couple of things over here. Oh, dang, did I get a hype train? Level 2 hype train already? Crazy. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about the Fightcade player. What am I trying to do here? Sorry. Yeah, I'll be talking about it. I was actually just sitting at the microphone. I was looking at something on my phone, and I definitely got ADHD and all that stuff like that. So, okay. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot to talk about, but, I'm not going to try to go. So basically, the plan is I want to talk about CEO, want to talk about the tag fighters, and if possible, if I have more time, I kind of want to jump back into the season 3 patch notes for Street Fighter 6, because I still have a few more characters to go through. I owe it to everyone. Although I've read all the patch notes now because I had to for CEO, I would still like to be able to go over them and, just kind of clarify to people what the changes mean and stuff like that. So, and also, even though I've read them all and kind of processed most of them, it would still be nice to mess with them actually in the game, so that I can actually figure out what we've got. So, just basically to get even a deeper understanding of them. Sorry, Seventh Saga. Like I said, I was back early on, but I was reading some stuff on my phone, sitting in front of the microphone. So, okay, here we go. Let's do this. Okay, what am I trying to do here? Okay, I think I'm just gonna jump into it rather than, normally I do the thing where I just sit there and talk to everybody for a little bit. I'm just gonna go ahead and start directly with the CEO stuff here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me come over here, get all of this set up over here. Where am I? Where is everything? Shoot, what am I looking for that I can't find right now? Oh, I know what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. Jesus, okay. Brain. Confusion. All right, let's do this. Let me make sure that I'm centered and everything looks okay. I am really low, so let's go higher. And then, oh man, okay, that's gonna bother my OCD. Hang on a second, I'm gonna straighten out my camera. Okay. Let me do one more thing. You know what's really funny, I gotta say? Zenny Gaming has hooked me up with like a bunch of glasses, all prescription based. And like, I've never like owned more than one pair of glasses, like corrective lenses at a time. And having a bunch of them, I never realized would actually be very useful. So, it's so weird. Okay, all right. Dude, yeah, seriously. Oh, Shay, you definitely need some sort of award for, you know, most frequent viewer that has the hardest time actually being able to view the Tuesday show. Oh man. Or anything on my channel now, actually. I can actually legit say or anything else on the Chenzor Dynasty, frankly. Well, Gundam Jehudi Kai. Well, if you ever feel like getting anything from there, I need to tweet this out. I keep forgetting. But you can also use coupon code or discount code. There you go. I believe that should work right there. So you can use that for Zenny gaming glasses. There you go. Let me know if it doesn't work. If the coupon code doesn't work, I'll figure it out. Well, Star Squirrel, I mean, to be honest with you, hang on a second. Okay, I guess we're going to do a pre-show after all here. Oops, what am I doing here? Let's do this. Let's do this. And let's do this. Nope, that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Hi. 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 Hi, girl. Hi, girl. Hi there. Oh. Hi, Jasmine. Oh, you do not look happy. Oh, good girl. Good girl. Oh, a panther? Yes, it's my vicious panther, Jasmine, with the claws and the claws. Oh, she was definitely ducking those kisses. Oh, but she's back. She's rubbing her head on my hand. She's not one to, like, she doesn't necessarily like the kisses, but she doesn't hold it against me. She knows it's a thing that happens, and she's affectionate as well, so she doesn't mind. I am brushing the cat, as you see her tail just occupying a lot of the camera over here. Come here, Jasmine. Come here, Jasmine. Come here, there you go. There you go. Oh, do you want to scratch cheeks? Do you want your cheeks scratched? Oh, there you go. Oh, and your ear, because you like the ear scratched. Oh, look at that. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, you see that? She's giving me little headbutts on my hand. Oh, there you go. Good girl. Good girl. Jasmine being nice and affectionate right now because she's not super hungry right now, so she's just being affectionate. Dude, I love what Street Fighter 6 did to the women overall, Wolfeye. I think Street Fighter 6 honestly has some of the best cast of female characters in the game, because they actually look different. Like, you could actually recognize which character is which just from their physiques and body proportions, right? Because for the most part, in almost every single fighting game, all women look exactly the same, right? Like in Tekken 8, every single girl has the same weird blank stare. And then if you all give them the same costume, I swear to God, they all look like the exact same character, and you can't tell the difference between them. But yeah, Manon is like really muscular, but very skinny. And then obviously Marisa is just really just like, bulked out. Aki is very, very sleek, right? And very long and lanky and stringy and stuff like that. So, I'm really happy with how they all looked. So, I mean, I think it's more than just Street Fighter and Tekken because me and Olaf always joke about how like Zero Suit Samus looks the same, Sarah Bryant looks the same. There's a lot of fighting game characters that have that, and even right now, right with City of the Wolves, a lot of people thinking that every time they see pictures of Mary, they're like, is that King? Because technically, Mary and King look kind of the same as well as everybody else, too. It's all the same kind of thing, to be honest. So it's nice that 6 has that differentiation. And it's not even just necessarily the white blonde, like the white blondes, because if you actually did change like what if you just made all the women like put a bag over their heads and like had their hair tied up so you couldn't see them, like hair color and costume are like the main differentiating factors between most fighting game women. And even then, sometimes not even the face. Sometimes if you just have the face, they all look the same. Still, like, because even the Asian characters look very white and the white characters look very Asian, so they're always in that weird blend in the middle and stuff like that. Oh no, Gin and Tonics, trust me, every time I talk about this subject, I used to say, like, if you actually, like, cut off the heads of all the women, and that sounds even worse, so, now I'm just talking about, putting bags over their head, because that actually sounds bad, but not as bad. Trust me, it used to be worse. So it's just like so I really like what they did with Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 6. And yeah, I guess their way to differentiate Lily was just to make her a little girl, and I'm just not really a fan of that at all, but oh man. Well, giving them shower caps wouldn't quite be enough. Like, you need to like block out their faces completely, and there's just no way to state that. I feel like that doesn't sound creepy, right? Like if you only just saw a picture of all the girls from the neck down, like that already just sounds like bad. I really can't think of a good way to state it. Final Fantasy. Well, it's gaming in general, honestly, and not even just Tekken and Final Fantasy, etc., etc. It's just gaming in general, basically. So, but Tekken 8, I mean, I'm glad I wasn't the only one that thought it, because I think it was when they announced, I think it was Asuka, and I just was like watching that trailer, and I was like, why does she look dead inside, And then someone pointed out that it was all the women in Tekken 8. And I looked at Tekken 8 and I was like, why do they all look exactly the same? Like, you go and look at Law, and then you go look at Paul, and you look at all the dudes in that game. They just have all these different faces and like exaggerated noses, cartoon noses and everything. And then you look at all the women, like the guys are just like, "Ah," or whatever. And then you look at the women, they're just like, I'm angry. I'm excited. I'm happy. It's like the same. It's really scary. Yeah, of course DOA is going to be the same, because that's kind of DOA's MO, right? Is just make nothing but generic hot chicks, and that's it. So, dude, it really was like that, Gin and Tonics. It's just, holy crap, it's not, it's not great. And so, yeah, not only did Capcom make all the characters very different and have different body types, but even just the versus screen where they have the expressions is just fantastic, because even the expressions that they chose for every character are like really good indications of what their personalities are, right? So being able to have Manon kind of do the whole, it is time for me to deal with you, but you will not be a problem kind of thing. Like she seems very calm about everything, whereas Lily is just like, and then Mai's face is just make me laugh forever and ever and ever. So Betty and Veronica have the same. I don't think I've noticed that, but I'm not surprised. So, oh,
Hi. Hi, Jasmine. I've just been brushing you all day.
yeah, Guilty Gear definitely does a better job with it. But I mean, again, it kind of does, but then it kind of doesn't, but it kind of does. Like, Bikin for sure is kind of a standout a little bit, as well as May, but that's just because May is a little girl, right? Or at least has the physique of a little girl. But then, technically speaking, like if you took, Dizzy or Eno or Milia, etc., etc. I guess Milia is a little scrawnier than the others, but I think that was more the art style of Daisuke or whoever was drawing the original XX art that just has that kind of vibe that all the characters look kind of like really like skinny ripped, kind of thing. I mean, Biken's old design, yeah, but she was always. I know some of the original art, she wasn't necessarily as busty, but she gained that look way earlier than Exerd. Let's just put it that way. I felt like she was kind of that way for quite some time already in a lot of the art for Biken. But if you're not talking about the body type, you're just talking about the costume. That makes sense too. So, let's see. Sajam is Juna and Brian F is Sajam. I still don't get that at all. Like, to me, Brian F, Sajam, and Juna look nothing alike. Nothing alike. So, like, it's such a weird joke to have. I mean, I'll make the joke every once in a while. I stopped because I just think it's old and kind of dumb. But, like, I don't even think they remotely sound or look similar. You know what I mean? Like, especially, like, Brian doesn't sound anything like the other two. And I don't know. It's just, like, I don't think they look the same. It's just weird. It's just so bizarre. So, oh, man. I mean, it also could just be that, obviously, and this is not, intentional, not people being racist or anything like that, but, we're better at discerning the differentiations of people of our ethnicities, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, all Asian people look the same. And I'm like, what? But then sometimes I will see a bunch of white guys and I'm like, I can't tell who's who, So there is always that factor. So it's just there, right? It's what you grow up being used to, you get trained into seeing specific things, but you don't see the things that exist in other ethnicities, right? So with Asians, you're not going to, like, they all look similar to you because the things that you use to determine the differences between, like, white faces, all the Asian people you run into have that different look. They all have higher cheekbones. They have the epicanthus web, for example. They have, they all have black hair, and things like that. So it definitely kind of messes it up with a lot of people, honestly. So, right, and exactly, yeah. So white people are gonna get. I mean, there was one time. It was me, my friend Jason, who is half white, half Mexican, and myself, and he brought over a movie for us to watch. We were all just watching Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. And partway through it, my brother was like, hang on, stop. He was like, wait, so this character was doing this, and he was trying to do that? And and my friend Jason was like, no, those are two different characters. He's like, my brother's like, oh God, okay, it's hard because everybody looks the same. They all look alike. And Jason was like, really? Oh man. Cause I mean, honestly, cause that movie was all about like kind of skinny British dudes with like the shaved heads, right? Like it was just like, uh, he wasn't joking. My brother was being absolutely serious. And I understand because it happens to me a lot too. Sometimes, well, in movies like that. So, uh, it's just, what you're used to, what you grow up with, and how the things that you naturally look at to determine the differences between, the ethnicities that you grow up with and are around most of the time. You start to learn the differences, like, oh, okay, this person has a slightly, wider eyes. It's not something that you process intentionally, you just subconsciously do it. But because different ethnicities have just different base facial structures, right? So, like every ethnicity has their own starting head in a character customizer, it gets really confusing that way. I mean, for example, like I've always thought it was kind of silly that Chun-Li never really looked Chinese all that much. And people are going to be like, what are you talking about? Chun-Li looks hella Chinese, right? And like, no, she doesn't, because she has a decidedly pointy nose in the Super Turbo drawings and stuff like that. She's always had a pointier nose, and that never really made sense. You don't see a lot of Asians with pointy noses. Asians with pointy noses don't really exist, right? There might be a few of them, but not like the very distinct Caucasian kind of like pointy nose. And she only really first looked truly Chinese or Asian at all in Street Fighter V, because they shifted her to a flatter nose. And same thing with Cammy, right? They actually gave her more of a Western nose and Western eyes in Street Fighter V, because up to then she just looked like an anime character, right? So, like I said, in Street Fighter 6 they did a fantastic job, but even in Street Fighter 5, Chun-Li was already looking a lot better with a more flatter, kind of rounder nose. See if I can find a picture of her in like the versus screen, because that's kind of where you could see it a lot of. Well, I mean, stuff like this, right? Like, if you look at this picture over here, for example, like you can already see that her nose is a little wider and flatter, and that's how Asian people tend to have their noses over here. Whereas if you look at Chun-Li's head in the versus screen of Super Turbo, I want to find a good shot of this because this is like stretched, so it might look a little inaccurate over here. Maybe here a little bit. Let me see. Like it's really hard to see with the contrast, but she has like a pointy-ish nose here. Like the nose sticks out a little further. It's a little pointier than a common Asian person's nose would be. So she definitely has a slightly more Western look in terms of the nose in this headshot. And keep in mind, I love this headshot. I think it's a great drawing, but she still looked very, like, a little less Asian than she could have. And so, yeah, I really liked what they tried to do with 5, and they really got to do with 6. I feel like because they were using that RE engine and they have all that ability to tweak the faces and stuff a little bit more, they've been able to make them look more accurate. So, oh man, pixel art, it's hard. The problem with pixel art is presentation, Petty, because you can't get cinematics. And that's really just kind of what it comes down to, right? If you land a cool super, nowadays it's just like it's really important to have the characters be able to do stuff in cool camera angles, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, like you can't do that with 2D, right? As much as everyone wants to say like King of Fighters 13 looked amazing, they couldn't do a lot of that stuff. They did get super creative though, because their camera direction in terms of the zooms and the slowdowns and camera shakes was really, really high level. So they kind of got around it a little bit, but at the same time, they were still limited, right? Nowadays, you know, if you see Potemkin do Heavenly Potemkin Buster, you get the whole spin around Potemkin thing, you know, and you don't get those with sprites. And that's the difficult part, especially if you want to have cool things like, you know, KO screens that rotate, or, you know, cool, like, certain moves that just trigger different animation frames, etc., etc. It is kind of tough, but you can do it really well with 2D. You know, because clearly I still think games like Vampire Savior and X-Men Children of the Atom and stuff like that are the best looking games, fighting games, like almost ever, right? And it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I think, sorry, Paul. I think for, like, you know, more indie fighting games and stuff like that, it's definitely easier to go to. But if you are trying to make a mainstream fighting game and it's all in sprites and you don't have these cool cinematics, it's going to hurt your game, right? So, you know, for example, if Fatal Fury came out with sprites right now, I don't think people would have, like, taken to it as much, maybe. But Fatal Fury is a weird example because I know a lot of people don't like the way the game even looks as it is right now. So that's just a weird one, but it's tough. When you are trying to make a AAA fighting game, I feel like you kind of have to do 3D models. Now, again, you can also do it right and do it even better, like in Exerd Grand Blue style, right? Because then it's just beautiful, right? Like, you could make it look like it's 2D. So art direction is really, really important. They absolutely can make a new fighting game with Guilty Gear Strive sprite-like style, art direction, right? So, for example, if anybody ever made a new Darkstalkers game, it has to be ArcSys. I don't think anybody else can do it. And if anybody else does it, all they would be doing is just trying to find those talks that ArcSys gave and copy what they say to do. Because ArcSys isn't trying to keep it for themselves. They want everybody to use it. They've had lots of talks at, like, GDCs and stuff like that, and stuff where they're just like, this is how we did it. We hope everybody can do this, you know, kind of a thing. So, and while 13 is beautiful, Video Soup, it has its limitations, right? Because of the method. Unfortunately, because they went the route where they created 3D models and essentially digitized them in a Killer Instinct / Donkey Kong Country style, except they didn't just digitize the models, they really went to town, like, trying to clean them up and everything like that. They kind of ended up with the worst of both worlds, right? So they didn't have the ability to do any cinematics because they were sprites. Like I said, they had creative zoom in and camera direction. But then at the same time, they didn't have the cool stretching and smearing and all of the, you know, things that 2D animation affords you, right? Again, I talk about this all the time. Go find Art Eater's article on the principles of animation and how they apply to Darkstalkers. And if you read that, you will actually see, like, all the things that, I mean, again, Darkstalkers / Vampire Savior is, like, not just some of the best looking sprite work, you know, in video game history. It is also literally just some of the best animation in history. Like, it just, in terms of, like, any kind of animation, you know, if it's a movie or a show or whatever, like, it's so good. It's so good. And if you read that article, you'll see that those kind of things are a little bit missing from KOF. definitely tried to add some in later on, but the stretching and the growing and like the bigger limbs and stuff like that, like doesn't exist as much in those games. So oh, right. They're very basic. Oh, yeah. No. For sure, they did not go crazy and like make them super detailed, because that would have been way too much work. Yeah, it was just mostly just like a figure, basically. Yeah, but I mean, for me, I think Darkstalkers is just one of the greatest animated things in the world, right? Like, it's so good. Let me see here. I'm gonna just paste this in here if you guys want to just check that out at some point in time. Not during the stream, obviously, because everything I say is so goddamn important. But once you have actually a chance to go and read this article, it's really good. It's a really good article, and really shows you and really illustrates how good the Darkstalkers animation is in terms of things that you might not notice at first. Yeah, so I mean, they did that in Exerd and in Dragon Ball Fighters Necromancy Black. In Strive, they did not, which is why they were allowed a little more freedom on slow motions and for like kind of like more camera angles and stuff like that. On Strive, they worked really hard not to do the crazy stretching thing that they did for Exerd. But yeah, I mean, QB, like, when you see the stuff that Art Eater talks about in this article, like, you realize that, like, QB is just, like, one of the most crazy, impressive animated characters, like, ever. It's absolutely nuts. Yeah, God, this article is so good. It really illustrates a lot of things so well, and how a lot of the choices they make also make for moves that are easy to follow with your eyes, even though it's just a kind of a blob of pixels, It's crazy. Why can't Capcom give us the full roster of VSAV 1 and 2 together? Oh, you're talking about, well, the Saturn version essentially did, right? The Saturn version is the best version of Vampire Savior that exists, in my opinion, because it has, Donovan and Weitzel and, a few of the characters that the other ones didn't have. It's almost, I don't know, Saturn always had like these weird, really cool amalgamations, like their Alpha 3 has all the home characters, but it's not upper. So it's actually the old game, which is way better, and then, their Vampire Savior had some of the additional characters in there, but it wasn't Vampire Savior 2 or Vampire Hunter 2, Oh, man, I would love to see the Saturn versions released again at some point, so... God, these things are so good. Like, for example, Art Eater goes through all the different principles of animation, and he talks about arcs, right? Just about every living thing moves in arcs. Human locomotion comes from the rotation of our joints. In animation, we use arcs to map out the paths of movements. Here's an example being used for a walk cycle. So yeah, you can actually see like how when they walk, like there's this kind, like everything kind of makes circles. Like the head, you can see kind of does this up and down bob here, like this, right? Let me see if I can zoom it in further, but you can see it kind of does this up and down bob, and the feet are the same way. And so, they're talking about how a lot of the things Darkstalkers characters do have arcs in them. Obviously, this is like a easy example of this. Oh, you have the book? Yeah, the book is called The Animator Survival Kit by Richard Williams here. And, but then the best one, by the time they got to animating Vampire Savior, they were pulling off some really complex animation. And this is the one that I'm talking about. This QB animation, like, there are so many arcs going on in that motion, and a lot of them are overlapping, turning in on themselves, while her legs are performing a very broad circular motion. There's so much subtlety going on in her torso, especially her shoulders. Look how they loop towards the viewer in a figure 8. Then look at her head turning in perspective with the antenna trailing behind, forming another circle. So yeah, I mean, you can just see like the way that this sprite is animated here. It's just like, it's so good. Like you see her head doing this like perfect circle. And yeah, look at her shoulders, because it starts with her right shoulder facing forward. She turns around and now her left shoulder is facing forward and stuff like that. It's so beautiful. Like, and again, this isn't even on CPS3. They were doing this on CPS2. And you know, one of the reasons why people like to make fun of Morrigan sprite, like people were making fun of it in CVS2 and such. Again, keep in mind that Morrigan sprite was not designed for clear viewing, right? Let me see if I can actually find some stuff about this. Okay, you know what? There might be, yeah, okay, so this is from Art Eater again as well. But on Twitter over here, he's talking about Morrigan. And this sprite wasn't meant to look like this. So everyone always says that her sprite looks really janky and doesn't look very good. But when you actually have it in the context of scan lines, it looks so good. Because, you know, obviously they were developing these things on TVs with scan lines. So they're always going to do what they can to make it look better. Right. Her sprite is good, but, you know, when you look at it in this pure, clean view and stuff like that, you'll notice a lot more like almost kind of like extra pixels back here. Like if you look at the back of her wing, there's these extra pixels with these holes in there. But then when you see it on the CRT, everything gets blurry a little bit, so it all comes together. Like the back of her leg right here doesn't have a very dark black line here or a black line on her ass, but like you can actually see how on the CRT it makes it look cleaner. I know he gives some example with I think it was Lord Raptor at some point in time. So, but you know, it just makes a big difference. You know, when you actually see with the scan lines, it just makes a massive difference. Like, okay, yeah, here's an example from the Punisher game and stuff like that. So, yeah, Felicia here. It's just that it just look. Oh yeah, this is one of the most famous examples here. Is Richter's sprite from Symphony of the Night, right? You look at this picture over here, and it looks funny here. And you look at the boots and you're like, wow, that is a lot of pixels there. And then you look at the CRT version and the boots suddenly look genuinely leather. Like, because of the scan lines, his boots actually look better and more leather than than the other version, right? So like, this is the regular version. This is what it looks like on a clean monitor. And then here with scan lines, all of a sudden, it looks like, holy crap. Yeah, the portraits, yeah, in FF6, that's another very common example that people give. And so, like, a lot of this, yeah, exactly. These were made, exactly, epic name, bro. These were made on CRTs. Like, they were made, and when they drew these sprites, they looked how they looked on, you know, they looked at them how they looked on CRTs. Even the bricks. Look at the bricks. Like on this side over here, this brick is like, okay, obvious pixels are obvious. And then you move over here with the scan lines, and now this shit looks genuinely like stone. You know? Like all of this genuinely looks like stone. And so people have to realize that, you know? So again, like, literally, Capcom at this time, I just think that their animation was second to none. And so it's so good. It's so good. Holy crap. Yeah, I mean, Art Eater has a bunch of examples in this thread, right? So, I mean, you see this from Which game is this one? I don't remember which. Oh, this is a Fantasy Star 1, I think. Yeah, so here's another example. Like you can see how the hair looks. Look how different it looks. Like on this one, you know you can't see it on stream, but over here, it like the hair is very easily noticeable with like little dots and everything. But over here, it just looks like a smooth gradient. You know, Donkey Kong Country, like these red lines on his arm are really weird looking. You know, so yeah, and then here's of course the Terry Bogard here with scan lines. Again, like scan lines really change a lot of things. So I don't even remember how we got here exactly, but I was just talking about how good, you know, the animation is in all of Darkstalkers. So, anyways, dithering, thank you. Bilinear plus scan lines, yeah, beat some of the weaker CRT shaders. Yep. Oh, KOF 13, that's right, KOF 13. And again, KOF 13 looks amazing, but they're definitely missing some things that I feel like that, you know, while it is great, and like I said, while their camera direction also was fantastic, like Kim Super, someone mentioned it, where it kind of goes, and then big zoom in, slow down, bam, and then it kind of, like, it's beautiful. Also, I think it's Clark, right? Clark, who does the whoop, bam, whoop, bam, whoop, bam. Like, every time the guy slams onto his shoulders, it zooms in, and he goes, whoop, boom, zoom in, whoop, boom, zoom in, and then pow, and it looks beautiful. They really went above and beyond in KOF 13. So for sure, obviously one of the best looking. KOF 13 was drawn not for CRTs. I don't think it was drawn for CRTs. That game, well, no, it might be, because that example that Richmond gave, Art Eater gave, with that Terry Bogard in the scan lines actually looked pretty good. So probably designed for probably designed for scan lines, actually, because the arcade cabinets probably all still had the scan lines, right? So I'm not sure, actually. I'd have to go and look that up, how they did it, because it does look good in scan lines, and it looks good without scan lines. So yeah, if it came out in 08, 09, there's probably no real way that they did it for scan lines, to be honest with you. Let me see what he actually said about Terry Bogard here. So he says, oh, I see what he's saying. Okay, so the reason why he put this out is he's actually saying when you take current generation HD sprites. So yeah, so he's saying that KOF 13 was not drawn with scanline, but if you upscale it with scanlines and zoom in, they look like the most beautiful 16-bit cutscenes ever. That's fascinating. I mean, there's definitely more jank in this way. Like, you can see the lines on his pants right here aren't looking quite right, but there is definitely a charm to it for sure. So this thread is just about him turning KOF 13 sprites into classic CRT sprites. Interesting. God, that looks so good. Gee. Nice. But yeah, one of the things that, I've always mentioned about, KOF 13 sprites is that, when you look at this, right, like if you ever pause and stuff like that, you can see that the arms, there's a little bit of exaggeration, but, it's the size of their hands are just generally larger in general, but you don't see as much of the stretching and the growing and like the exaggeration that you would see in traditional 2D sprites. So, no, he was just doing all of this manually, basically. I know somebody's bound to ask for it. So here's Mai's KOF 13 idol. So there you go, in all of its glory here. She always had a very funky looking face in this game. Like, I always felt like her forehead was a little too big. So she looked like a different character to me, because I always felt like her forehead was a little too big for some reason. Anyways, okay, let's actually get to the real topics at hand here. Let's talk about, well, I mean, they didn't omit much in Street Fighter 6, to be honest with you, Forrest. She's actually just more, like, realistically human proportioned, you know? She's still, obviously the neutral stance isn't as bouncy as normal that people are used to, but she's plenty bouncy in a lot of different animations anyway. So and then, you know, you saw her new costume, so I don't think anybody's like, Street Capcom is like being woke. Like, I mean, like, seriously, like that new costume for Maya is actually kind of ridiculous. All right, let's actually do the real show here. We're going to talk about CEO, then we're going to talk a little bit about tag fighters, and then I'll try to get to some more of the Street Fighter 6 patch notes so I can help you guys kind of get more about it and stuff like that. So let's do this. Here we go. What am I doing here? We go. Okay. Guess I was muted. All right, let's try this again, shall we? Oops. Hello, everybody. Welcome to It Was Tuesday with your host, James Chen, and his co-host, Jasmine. Hi, Jasmine. Hi. Say hello. Say hello into the microphone, Jasmine. Meow. 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 No? No? Dude, she is looking at me. She is looking at me like, really? You are subjecting me to be your dancing monkey. I refuse to be your dancing monkey. Oh, man. Okay, anyways, how's everybody going out there? Look, we just came back from an amazing weekend at CEO 2025, and I gotta tell you, man, like, oh boy, it was all the things that you have heard about this event are true. CEO 2025 was absolutely amazing. As I said down here, as you can see, I said it was like CEO was back to full power. And don't get me wrong, the venue previously was a cool venue because we also had that center arena, you know, where he was able to run those wrestling matches before and do lots of cool stuff. But, you know, obviously, you know, without getting too much into it, Daytona is not particularly a good spot for a large portion of the fighting game community for very specific reasons. So, you know, a lot of people haven't gone. And in fact, I have been going to CEO since like 2012. And I think it was only in like, it was the third year in Daytona that I didn't go. And I just haven't gone. This is the first CEO I've been back in a while. And I've always wanted to go to CEO. I always want to go to CEO, but the fact that it was in Daytona just really kind of made it like, I was like, I can skip it. You know, it's not terrible kind of a thing. But this year, like, I talked with Tong, I talked with Jabela. I'm like, how do I get back to CEO? How do I get back to CEO? And so they definitely got me back. And so I was happy to be back. And boy, was I happy to be back. Because again, this venue was really, really nice. And not for a lot of the things that you would think. Like, there was a lot of stuff that this venue did really well with that were probably not even things Jabali was thinking about at all, right? Oh yeah, Orlando is a huge tourist trap location. In fact, the original location for the Wyndham Hotel in Orlando wasn't even that far away from Disney World, if I not mistaken. So, oh, you saw me when I said hello to Punko. Well, they've got Universal Studios. They've got a lot of like touristy things you can do. They have like one of the famous God, what is it? Believe It or Not? No, was it Believe It or Not? I can't remember, but like kind of like a museum there. They have the biggest McDonald's in the world that serves like spaghetti and pizza and all this other stuff, which is really, really great. Oh, okay, so this venue is right next to Universal. Gotcha. It's right next to Universal. But again, look, the main takeaway that I have for this venue is just size, right? Like, this was the most spacious tournament I have ever attended in my entire life. Like, I just felt like at no point in time did I ever feel crowded. Like, all the tables are far apart. I even went to Jabali World, which, you know, Jabali Land used to be his arcade, you know, but he calls it Jabali World now because it's bigger. And when you walk in the room, you're like, this arcade's really small. There's not that many games in here. No, it's because the room is ginormous that he was able to put a ton of space in between the games, you know, for the rows. And they only took up like half the room. It just looked smaller, but there was definitely a lot of games in there. And on the other side was another octagon streaming station where they streamed a lot of the retro and more indie fighting games out there. And also, some people were able to show off some of their games, like Paul Weeks in the chat over here, creator of Scramble Heart City, which I'll talk about a little bit later on. He was able to demo that in the room as well, even run a tournament for it on Sunday. It was just such a great venue. The main ballroom, like literally everything, besides that little octagon area, everything else was streamed in this room. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like maybe 9 stages. It was either 7 or 9 stages going across one wall, with the main one even having the arches for the entrance so that people could come in and do their entrance and then climb into the ring, which was still there, etc., etc. It was great. It was really, really great. And, a few small, subtle things, too, is that, they had a lot of restaurants, but more importantly, on the bottom floor, they had a market down there. Very, standard, like, think of it like as, like, a really nice 7-Eleven kind of thing, just a big store, lots of supplies, lots of snacks, lots of drinks. That market was open 24 hours, okay? So if you wanted to buy any like small things like that, you could always go down there and get some. But also they had a cafeteria section where you could get sandwiches, pizza slices, some soups, falafels, etc., wraps and all that stuff like that. That was open till like midnight or maybe even a little bit later, which it came through really, really, really well for a lot of people, because a lot of people didn't get a chance to eat until after 10, and that's when all the restaurants closed and stuff. Was the cafeteria thing actually 24/7 as well? I heard that they closed earlier, but if they're open 24/7, even better. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. I basically almost never ate at any of the restaurants there. I almost always ate at the market because it was just easy, it was quick, and the food was good. I mean, it's like obviously not going to be stellar, but I had like a roast beef sandwich there. It was really good. I had a grilled cheese and tomato soup, which was really good, etc., etc. I see. There you go. Okay. Food spot was open till 12. Alcohol served until 2. Regular purchases 24/7. Okay. It was really, dude, the tomato soup was good. As soon as I saw they had a grilled cheese with tomato soup, which I think, I mean, there's a reason why people love it. It's really good. So like, I was like, oh, it's so good. And also too, the roast beef sandwich was a cold deli sandwich, and I asked them to toast it for me, and they were like, that's cool. And they toasted it for me. So I had a nice hot roast beef sandwich. It was delicious. But again, the reason why I talk about this is because, this is important, honestly, for venues. Having a really nice 24/7 place that you can buy drinks and supplies and snacks and stuff like that just in there. I'll tell you this, it wasn't cheap. Obviously, it's a hotel place, so things are going to be a little higher priced. But man, as a person who has gone to so many venues and so many places, and at late at night, I'm like, I just need a snack. Like, and you just can't find any. The convenience was very, very nice. Now, here's the crazy thing about it is, I haven't talked about the restaurants. And the way the venue was set up, the restaurants were like crucial in a way, because the way it was set up is that, like, here's the registration lobby, like over here, and the elevators to get to your rooms. And then there's this hallway, and then there's this open area where you turn to one side, and that was, if it was this side, sorry, left, right, dyslexia. If you went this way was the main ballroom. If you went this way was Jabali Land. So you would go down 2 escalators to the opposite sides. The thing is, that skinny hallway is where all the restaurants were. So there was like 5 different restaurants in there. They had a burger place, they had a Mexican place, etc., etc. But what was actually really sick about this, which, again, this is the part that I don't think anybody thought about. But the bigger these tournaments get, the harder it is to run into all your friends. You just don't see your friends a lot of the times. I went to Combo Breaker and I missed hella people at Combo Breaker because Combo Breaker's a little more spread out, lots of small rooms, and I like that aesthetic and vibe as well. But in this situation, that little restaurant choke point, what I called it, it's probably the only time you could ever feel possibly like crowded. But because everybody was eating there and everybody was walking through to get to where they needed to go, I ran into so many people. Oh my goodness, in that hall. Or I would walk past them and they'd be eating in the restaurant and they'd be like, James, and I'd be like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in forever, kind of a thing, like I ran into so many people in that hallway, and that hallway becoming this choke point kind of turned it into the place where you ran into all your friends and got to see them again. And I really appreciated that. I really liked that, to be honest with you. I really enjoyed having that be a factor at CEO. So, like, again, I haven't even talked about the tournament yet, but, like, it was weird that the way that it was laid out actually helped into, kind of laid out, kind of really added to the experience overall. In fact, before I get into that, but yeah, the venue is great. The venue is really great. It's very spacious, lots of room, lots of amenities. I never even left the hotel, but there are lots of good restaurants, nearby. In a 4-minute drive, someone told me about a burger joint where they have a peanut butter burger, and I really wanted to try that. I just never had a chance. So, but yeah, really great venue. And Jabali announced at the end of CEO that they will be coming back next year. And he said there was over 6,000 unique attendees. And I really hope that means they were able to break even, because this place could not have been cheap. Holy crap, I don't want to know how much it cost Jabali to rent out this hotel, because my God, it had to have been super expensive to rent this place out for CEO. But also I heard that the staff, the hotel, all really loved us and everything. And again, it's crazy because, everyone sees the FGC as bad people because you hear bad stories here. But from what I had heard, most people were really happy with everybody here, So I'm like really glad to hear that, honestly. So, again, not being in Daytona, I already kind of mentioned that. So just the fact that we could be in Orlando was very nice as well. So, the Daytona venue, it probably was more than the Daytona venue, I would imagine. Because this hotel is like really, it feels like a resort more than a hotel. And then I think the Daytona one, like, they were so happy to have somebody, renting from there that they probably gave him a pretty decent deal maybe after the first or second year or something like that. Because remember, Jabali mentioned he had to sign a multi-year contract, with them. So he probably got a pretty decent deal, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think to come back here, I think he had to break the contract and also pay an additional penalty fee or something like that. Like, there's a lot of things that, like, people who don't run events don't think about and don't realize all the dumb things that you have to do to secure venues and stuff like that, man. Oh, Long Beach has a peanut butter sandwich, huh? The one that I saw was from a Beth's Burger, and it had like peanut butter and A1 sauce on there, and I was like, what? But someone told me it's amazing, so one of these days I'm definitely gonna try. So, yeah, exactly. The Daytona venue was great. Like I said, I will never complain about that venue. It was it's obviously that just Daytona was the area, the city itself was the problem, more so, because honestly, there wasn't much to do at night in that area, and even if there was, a lot of people did not feel safe doing anything at night, honestly. Oh man, yeah, I know Jabali, the instant millionaire, exactly what everybody thinks. But again, that's essentially like the venue and everything. But the tournaments there also turned out great, and I hope Jabali doesn't mind me talking about this directly on stream. But while Jabali, and again, everybody knows Jabali, I'm gonna make the joke again that Evo's a celebration of fighting games, Combo Breaker's a celebration of community, and CEO is a celebration of Jabali, right? Like, I mean, we all know how Jabali is, and it is one of the reasons why he throws an amazing event, because he wants to be the best, right? Whether it's playing fighting games or running an event, right? He really legit wants to be the best, and he cares a lot. And while he was in Daytona, I remember one time from an event, we ended up taking the same Uber to get to the airport. And, we were just talking, and he just looked at me, and like in an unusual, vulnerable Jabali moment, he was just like, if I can get back to Orlando, do you think the people will come back? Because he's like, Daytona, like, the numbers aren't as good and everybody's mad, and like, I'm scared, that the reputation of CEO has been hurt a lot and stuff. And I just looked at him, I was like, bro, nobody's mad at CEO. Everybody knows how good of an event this is. If you run this, if you get it back into Orlando, everyone's coming back, and probably even more, because there's going to be a lot of people who are like, finally I can go to CEO. And after this weekend happened, I ran into Jabali and I pulled him aside, and I was like, do you remember this conversation? I was like, I told you they would come back. I told you they would come back, because CEO's reputation as a tournament is so strong. And again, when they were in Daytona, nobody was mad at CEO. They were mad at Daytona. And, obviously they understood that Jabali was kind of stuck there in a way, so I don't even think so. Oh, they were 2K higher than last year? Exactly. And so, yeah, I was just like, dude, you didn't have anything to worry about. Like, as soon as you came back to a good venue, look at this. Everybody wanted to come back. Like, CEO just has that reputation of being just like a really, really fun tournament. And honestly, it was amazing. And so I'm so happy for him. And I really hope that, over 6K people, as he mentioned, making it into here. I don't know if that's going to mean he can break even. I would certainly be surprised if he could even get a profit at all. But again, even if he did get a profit, good, he deserves it, right? And then two, you have to understand, whenever a TO gets profits from their event, all they do is they just put it in the bank, and it all gets spent next year for next year's event. The TOs aren't being like, hey, look at all this money, time to go and buy a car. No, they're like, shit, well, I gotta step it up next year, so here's a bunch of money that I can spend even more next year to try to make it even better, hopefully make enough to make even more so that I can spend that the next year on the same event, etc., etc. It's just not like 4K versus 6K. That's really cool. I was in Orlando over the weekend to take my family to Disney. Finding out that it's now in Orlando, I decided I'll go back to Orlando next year for it. Oh, dang, that sucks, Raphael. Yeah, it would have been awesome if you were out there and be like, hey, family, hey, you know what's really cool? You guys can do this Disney thing. I'm going to stay home because I don't feel so good. You guys go enjoy yourself. You can go without me. I will manage. And then they all go, and then you do like the high school kid thing where you're lying in bed, with the thermometer and the ice pack, and as soon as the family's gone, you're like, and then you just like run over to CEO, Oh, man. Yeah, exactly, a Ferris Bueller. Hey, but David has been chastising me all weekend long for making references to things that are too old now, which makes me really sad. Because, you know, we were talking about the prize pool for Capcom Cup, and I definitely said the whole $1 million kind of thing. And David's like, do you think anybody gets that? And I was like, I think that meme has pressed forward past its time a little bit. He's like, do you think Crime knows what you're talking about? I was like, okay, maybe not Crime, okay, you know, like, but still, I feel like that one's kind of pushed forward a little bit. I don't think it's as trapped in its time as some of the other references. But then I obviously was talking about like the patch notes later on, and I was like, you know, all the characters are so equal except for Ryu maybe now because they gave him lasers. And yeah. Oh man. So I definitely doubled down on the Austin Power references. So but yeah, I really do hope Jabali broke even at least. And like I said, if he made money off of this, good, because that just means he can do it even bigger and better next year. And taking a risk on this venue and him being scared about will the FGC respond? Will they come back to CEO? Now that it's been proven that they will, I feel like he can go a little more full bore into it next year. And like I said, it doesn't feel like he held anything back this year, but knowing that confidence, having that confidence, and knowing that the word of mouth, like everybody's been talking about this tournament, like, oh my God, like this was like one of the most perfect tournaments ever, you know, like having that kind of aspect, you're gonna get a lot more people next year. You're gonna get, I mean, there's a lot of people in the chat over here like, maybe I should go next year. Or like, oh, okay, all right, well, I decided not to go this year, but sounds like I should go. And so like a lot of people are saying that now. I mean, honestly, it's been it's great. It's really, really great. Right, and if it stayed completely the same, and again, like I'm not saying like jazz it up, do something like way crazy. I just mean like, okay, so then I can afford to maybe rent more arcade machines for Jabali World, or I can, you know, do this other thing, you know, fancier kind of solution, or, you know, he's always done really good work with that. Even when we were at the Wyndham Hotel, like there was a Popeye's chicken across the street that everybody would jaywalk to because the freaking crosswalks were like miles away, it felt like, and it was a busy highway, like road, but everyone would jaywalk to. But like all the restaurants nearby, and like Jabali himself went to all those restaurants and like said, hey, can we have a deal or anything like that? And even the Popeyes was like, okay, if people show their CEO badges, we'll give them discounts and stuff like that. So he's been really good about, you know, pushing forward for a lot of that kind of stuff again. So again, for a lot of the bravado and all that stuff that he shows off and everything, like he really does really fight hard for people and really cares. So dude, the red beans and rice at Popeyes is amazing. It's godlike. Like don't get me wrong, I love their mac and cheese. I even love their mashed potatoes. But those red beans and rice hit different. Oh man. I mean, they just serve Hawaiian Punch, and I don't know why, but the Hawaiian Punch at Popeyes tastes better than Hawaiian Punch. I don't know if it's the association. I don't know if it's like, you know, McDonald's Coke, that they just get a slightly different formula to make it taste even better or something. I don't know. But obviously the Popeyes wasn't there this year because we're in a different venue and all that stuff like that. But again, like he tries to do a lot of stuff. And, you know, if you have more money, if you have more expectations for more people to show up, you know, you can afford to do cooler things, right? Like obviously most of us are like, well, what would he do? We don't know, but I'm sure there was a lot of ideas that Jabali had that he couldn't do, which he might be able to do now. So, it could be something like that, but I have heard from a former Coke syrup delivery person that yes, that McDonald's like gets the good stuff is how he stated it to me, which is why their Sprite and their Coke, etc., just hit different. I don't know what that exactly means, but that's what he said to me. So yeah, I didn't question it further because I felt like if I got any more details, he'd have to kill me. So I didn't ask anymore. So let's see. Oh, you used to work at McDonald's. Nice. Okay. Okay. Anyways, that's the venue. And again, me talking a little bit about, Jabali and talking about the hard work that he's always put on for these events. I also want to talk about my personal experience. This is the most fun I've had at a tournament, I would say, in a long, long time. And this, like, while part of it is the venue was awesome, I got to run into friends and stuff like that. A lot of it wasn't necessarily that, like, so in other words, I could have had just as much fun at a lot of other events. I just didn't. But circumstances falling into place exactly right at CEO really allowed me to enjoy a lot of things that I haven't been able to in a long time. In particular, I flew in on Thursday as I normally do. And when I looked at the commentary schedule earlier in the week, I noticed that I had no blocks on Friday. I had no commentary blocks on Friday. I had 5 commentary blocks between Saturday and Sunday, which was about the average for the highest, for the commentators that got used the most, that had the most blocks. It was 5 was about the average for the more used commentators, the more prolific commentators. But on Friday, I had nothing. I got to chill at the tournament. And let me tell you something. The last time that I have been at a tournament where I was able to just chill and not worry about looking at the clock all the time. Oh, crap, I gotta go. Oh, crap, I gotta go. Oh, it was nice. I ran into Gibby, was talking with Gibby. A whole bunch of people were there. Keats eventually joined up, and all of us were talking. And then I've told you guys many times here on stream that I do not write my puns ahead of time. I do not, try to think of them or anything like that. And I threw out a pun that I was very proud of, and Keats refuses to believe that I made that up on the spot. He says that he feels like I was setting him up the entire time, that I was baiting him the entire time. Basically, we were talking about the term esports and what esports does and how esports is we were talking about how some things are like business room decisions, right? Like you don't do something because you love something or whatever. It's like, what would be good for the company or blah, 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 blah. And I was like, dude, even the term esports itself feels like a boardroom term. It's like some people sat down and were like, what should we call it? Let's call it esports, and it's seriously like the worst name ever. I've hated the word esports since the very beginning. When esports started to gain popularity, I was on a campaign to just be like, let's call it something else, please, not esports. We don't have to be an electronic version of sports, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I was like, let's call ourselves something else, please. And so people were like, okay, James, what would you call it then? And I was like, okay, look, the word sport comes from the word desport, right? I think it's D-I-S-P-O-R-T or D-E-S-P-O-R-T, I don't remember. Which that word actually just means to engage in fun pastime, to do something that you're enjoying, right? Desport. And so it just got shortened to sport, and then it just became sports. So I was like, why do we have to name our genre something from words that exist? Let's just make up a new word. So I said I would call it, oh, there you go. Thank you, Super Coco Jean. Yeah, desports. So I basically said, why wouldn't we just make up a new word? And my idea for that was to call the entire genre strats. Strats, S-T-R-A-T-S. We still have that advantage that it sounds kind of like the word sports, but yeah, we're just going to take the word strategy, shorten it to strats, and so we're going to be playing strats, right? And the beautiful thing about that too is that because it doesn't include electronic or anything like that, then strats could also apply to TCGs, they could apply to Warhammer, they could apply to Beyblade, whatever, right? Like, you know, it's more of the kind of like the strategic competitive games out there. So it doesn't just have to be video games, right? We would just have strats, and that would encompass the whole entire thing in the way that sports encompasses BMX, biking, surfing, gymnastics, dressage, you know, et cetera, right? We could have one term that just kind of applies to a lot of stuff out there. Yeah, Beyblade is esports, but again, like I said, I hate the term esports. And I was telling Keats, I was like, yeah, but one person actually told me that they didn't like the term strats because he's a guitar player. And he says that's what everybody in his community calls Stratocasters, right? The Stratocaster guitar. And he was like, oh yeah, that's what we call them strats. So I wouldn't want the names to get mixed up like that. And Keats just kind of looked at me and was like, really? He's like, I own a bunch of those guitars and I have never called them strats. I have never seen anyone refer to them as strats. So I don't know what that guy is talking about. I mean, Datapod in the chat seems like he's saying that, yeah, that's how they refer to strats as well. But he's like, yeah, I have never heard anyone refer to them as strats like that. And then I looked at him and I was like, yeah, and, I mean, I guess some of the other reasons why it would be kind of confusing is because if it was called strats, then I would be a Stratocaster. I said I would actually be a Stratocaster. And Keats just looked at me and he was like, this was all just a setup to get me with that, wasn't it? And I was like, no, I made this up. I made this up right here. And he was like, I refuse to believe you. You baited me into that. It was a setup the whole entire time. Oh, man. Oh, it was great. And I literally made it up at the time because as soon as he said Stratocaster, like when I heard it out loud, again, when I hear words, they just start like, it's almost like the words and the letters are in this like box and I'm just shaking it and they're just like bouncing around and like I can't help but just like think about the words and stuff. So, but yeah, I thought that was pretty genius. In any case, I was hanging out with Keats a lot, and then me and Gibby were planning to go eat lunch. And then I was like, hey, Keats, you want to come along? And he's like, yeah, sure, let's go. So me and Keats and Gibby just, went down to that cafeteria area, and we got some lunch, and we ate it. Gibby had to go back to the booth. And so me and Keats were just hanging out, and Keats was like, have you played Scramble Heart City yet? And I was like, what? He's like, have you played Scramble Heart City yet? I'm like, no. He's like, come on, I'm going to take you and make you play this game. I was like, okay. And basically, if you guys remember, there was a fighting game a while ago called Tough Love Arena, which me and David talked about a lot on this chat back on the Tuesday show. It was like that fighting game that was like kind of like on notebook paper kind of thing that you could literally play in a browser and had rollback netcode and was like way better than, than a lot of people probably felt like a game like that would be, indie game kind of developed by like a person, like I don't even know if it was one person or if it was a group of people. But the creator is making a new game called Scramble Heart City. And so I knew nothing about the game, and so Keith was like, come on. So we went into the Jabali World room, and went down there, met the creator of Tough Love Arena / Scramble Heart City, and Keith sat me down and was like, all right, James, I'm going to teach you how to play this game. And it's a tag fighter. I was not expecting it to be a tag fighter, and immediately I was like, well, I'm garbage at this game because I suck at tag fighters. I have always sucked at tag fighters. I can't play tag fighters because I can't remember assists exist. I can't remember assists exist. And so I was just like, oh my God. And so Keith was like, all right, here, let me show you all the things that you can do in this game. Now, interestingly enough, you know, when he was showing me, I can't play assist tag fighters, yes. So he was showing me all the stuff. It was surprisingly simple. Like when I played Invincible, when I played 2XKO, there's, you know, like team launchers or this kind of combo breaker or that kind of crazy thing. And like I'm sitting here playing this tag fighter and like, you know, there's no like aerial recovery. There's no like combos that are for the gray combo meter. Like you just recover in the air, and when you do, you can hit buttons again on the way down. You don't have to press a button to flip. There wasn't any like sort of, there wasn't even any sort of like combo breaker mechanic. It was just straightforward, light, medium, heavy, a special move button. It was a single button special move, which I've already talked about that I am not necessarily a fan of. But again, this one was designed with it in mind. So literally it's just like forward, back, neutral, and down for special moves, and then stuff in the air. And it was just, that was like it. And just 2 assist buttons. And the assist buttons do exactly what you think. And I was actually kind of surprised. I was like, okay. So Keith's trying to teach me the game. He's like, all right, James, this is how it works, right? He's teaching me stuff, and he's like, I'll go easy on you, right? I'm like, well, just let me just mess around or whatever. So we messed around, and after like 3 games of him showing me stuff, and I felt like I had like so much more I wanted to learn, Keith was like, all right, let's play a match. I'll go easy on you. And I was like, dude, bro, what the hell? And then he proceeded to kick my ass. He was playing light, and then towards the last game that we played, I started doing better, and I killed 2 of his characters. He's like, all right, now I have to play for real, and then he just destroyed me. I was like, thanks, Keats, thanks, right? And so he was like, all right, let's play again. I'm like, no, I think I'm done, because I really need to spend time with a game, because for me, learning a game is all about learning its rhythm, its pace, and I need to have some muscle memory in there. Like, I need to practice combos and just find a B&B that I can use that doesn't necessarily feel like the standard B&B. I like, it just feels better when I'm doing more creative stuff, etc., etc. At one point in time, the creator and the other guy that was working at the booth hooked me up, and since I was the only person at a station, they put me into training mode. So I actually got the training mode. So I started figuring stuff out, and then at one point in time, Keats and the creator were like, Keats was trying to fight everybody. Like, seriously, like, he was seriously like that kid that just runs around. You want to fight? You want to fight? You want to fight? Like, he just wanted to fight everybody because he just kept trying to find people who were really good at the game. He just wanted to get better. So keep in mind, Keats played this game for 12 hours at Combo Breaker. And by the time he showed me the game at CEO, he had already played another 6 hours. So he already had 18 hours of this game under his belt when he decided to beat me up. Right? So I was like, thanks. But then at one point in time, Keats and the creator were like, hey, let's play some matches. And I was like, sick. So what I did was I grabbed a chair, plopped it right behind them, and I just sat down. Because again, as I've said, fighting games are a social genre. The most important thing to do in fighting games is to watch matches and watch it with a discerning eye. Because I know a lot of you guys are watching tournaments and stuff, but there are very specific things that I look for when I watch people play fighting games. And watching 2 really good players go at it against each other, I was able to pick up the pace of the game, of what is kind of expected out of the game. I was able to see what the mix-ups were about. Like, where did they land their hits? How did they land their hits? right? Because learning fighting games is not about just praying that you hit someone. That's hopesees and wish punishing, right? As I've famously called those. So I'm just sitting there watching them play and everything like that, and I was like, okay, okay. And then I watched them go at it for a while, and I was like, okay, sick. I think I understand this game a little bit more. And sure enough, I sat down at the machine, and other people started challenging me, and I was doing really well. Like, I was holding my own, even for a tag fight. I was actually calling assists, which was crazy. It took me a while to learn, like, the timing, or, like, to be like, oh, shoot, that's right, I have an assist. Oh, crap, I have an assist. It took me a while to do that. Yeah, literally, I call it hopesees. Like, if you're playing footsies and you're just like, please run into this button, like, you're not playing neutral correctly, right? So I call those hopesees instead of footsies. And then wish punishing, like, I'm just gonna press the button. I hope you press the button, and then I can whiff punish you. A lot of fighting game players who are learning fighting games tend to play hopesees and wish punishing more than anything. But yeah, like, I started playing, and I was playing against other people, and these other people weren't bad. It's not like they were just like, how do you do this? Like, I was actually holding my own and actually doing a great job, like, fighting against them and stuff like that. And eventually Keats walked over and he was like, you picked up all of our dirty tricks really fast. And keep in mind, Keats is trying to be really nice to me, because he, of all people, know that, like, I am horribly, horribly, like, down on myself, and, like, I think I suck at everything. So I think Keats was trying to prop me up a little bit. But, I mean, he wasn't completely wrong. I was definitely doing a lot better, and honestly, I was having a lot of fun. And when I tell you that that was, like, the first time that I sat down and played fighting games against another person at a tournament for, like, maybe, like, 3 years or something stupid like that, I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. Like, I just don't play other people at tournaments anymore because I'm so self-conscious about a lot of things. So I'm just like, no, that's okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because the last time I tried playing at a tournament, I just got my ass whooped by Mono. And of course, it's Mono. He's like championship player, but I felt like I should be able to give him a better fight than I did. And I was just super rusty. I was just playing awful, and I felt horrible. So, like, I just don't like playing at events as much anymore. But this time I sat down and I played, and I had a really good time. I had a really great time. I really, really enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed the game. And yeah, I don't have a lot of times. I don't have a lot of times to actually play fighting games, but this time I had that whole Friday free, so I could play without even worrying about time schedules, whatever. I just sat there and played, and I mean, the creator and the person that was working with him, they left the booth. They were like, all right, we're gonna go back, see you guys later, and let a lot of people just keep playing, and like, I was even there longer than they were. So, and obviously, if you guys haven't figured it out, the creator is M. Paul Weeks in the chat over here. I was gonna say all this stuff about his game even if he wasn't here, so I'm not just trying to be nice to him. Trust me, I would have said all this anyway. But I really had a good time playing that. So much to the point that the next day when we were doing Super Turbo Top 8, after it was done, I was done for the day. And one of the ST guys was like, before the top 8 started, I mean, hell, I'll do commentary for Scramble Heart City. Even Keats was like, I'll do commentary. Keats isn't going to do commentary. He's going to be entering all those tournaments, dude. He's going to be entering all the tournaments. He's going to be trying to win. He's not going to be able to commentate the game, okay? Look, let's be real here. But before the Super Turbo Top 8 started, one of the Cami players there was like, hey, James, can we play like a Cami mirror first to 5? And I was like, I hate the Cami mirror. Because I told him the truth. Like, me and Silent Scope were always like, God, we hate the Cami mirror. And he's like, why do you hate the Cami mirror? And I was like, because me and Scope both can't stop hooligan throw. We can dish it out. We can't take it, right? Oh, cool. Video Soup's in the chat as well. Nice. Okay. So yeah, Video Soup was the other one of the other people on the team that was working on the game over there. But yeah. So and plus another thing I hate about the Cammy mirror, and again, it's why I hate mirrors in general, is because in order to play footsies, I don't know what to do in mirrors. Because in every match, in general, different characters are going to have different strengths at all the different distances. Like, I'm Cammy. I want to get here when I'm fighting this character. Like, against Shotos, I need to be here. Again, or I need to be here. Like, if I'm here, this is bad life right here. I want to be here or I want to be here. So while you're fighting him, you kind of know what to do. When you play a mirror match, every distance is a 50-50. Every distance that you go to is a 50-50. If you're here, neither character has an advantage. If you're here, neither character has an advantage. If you're here, neither character has an advantage. If you're here, neither character, because you're the same damn character. And this is why a lot of people hate mirrors, but they can't explain to you why. It's because suddenly all of your subconscious knowledge about knowing where to position yourself against every other character is gone. You're just like, what am I supposed to do? Where do I even go? And so I was like, I don't really want to play the Cammy mirror. And he was like, oh, all right, okay. Seemed really disappointed. And after the Street Super Turbo Top 8 was done, David was like, I need to go back to the room. I've got all this work I need to do. And I was like, okay. And he went back to the room and I was like, you know what? And I just turned around and I walked all the way to the back, found him, and I was like, you want to play those Cammy matches? And he was like, yeah? I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And so we walked over to a machine and we played a bunch of Cammy mirrors. And again, like, I haven't really played other people at a tournament in a long time. And it was really fun. I really had a good time playing the Cammy mirrors. And then after we played a bunch, I think I won more games, but it was really close. And he's also, the way he uses cannon drill was just blowing my mind. I mean, he would just do like heavy cannon drills like at point blank range. And I just walk into him like every time because who would do a cannon drill there? I just kept getting hit by it. But I think I did end up winning more games. And then poor Alex Smith, a guy that I see at like every tournament, challenged me with Ryu. And there was just one thing I was trying to do all day, and I finally landed it on Alex. And as soon as it happened, I didn't even know I was playing Alex, but as soon as I did it, like, I just see him like poke his head in between the cabinets, and he just gave me the dirtiest look, like, what the fuck was that? Oh, man. No, Cammy can't punish Cammy's DP. She can't. Cannon drill is super slow in Super Turbo. Like, if I do low forward into drill, at like 50% of the ranges, it doesn't combo. Cannon drill takes forever to start up in that game. We'll talk about the CVS2 in a little bit later, Bonanza Rat. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, the whole thing is I want to do is anti-air Ryu out of the air with standing strong, walk under him, do standing medium kick, which hits cross up, and then link it into fierce into drill, and I got that into him, and it's like guaranteed stun. And so he just looked at me like, what the hell, man? It's like one of those TZW combos where you walk under, do standing medium kick, they land in it, but they're behind you, so they reel into you, so they're still at point blank range, and it was nice. Yeah, it's fun. Oh, man. Any case, yeah, so I had a great time there. And then the commentating that I did, I had a blast. I think I had like 2 or 3 blocks with David. We got to do Street Fighter 6. Yeah, we did we did a Super Turbo block, top 8. Did we do another Super Turbo block? No, we did something else. Might have just been 2 blocks, but obviously I always have a good time commentating with him. With Jeremy, I got to do a Street Fighter 6 block as well, which was really cool. Then I did the CVS2 top 8, which I'll talk about in a little bit later because that thing was just so good. It's so good. Oh, that's right. Me and David did the CFC 2 exhibition. That's right. which was awesome because it was basically one of those, they randomized which game they had to play in each round. So the first round we were watching, they were just playing, which one were they playing? They were playing Plasma Sword, The Revenge of Bilstein. But they had Power Stone. We saw CVS 1 Pro. It was really cool that we saw a bunch of these different games. I don't think that's why he wore the hat. Maybe. I don't know. But like, me and David were so hyped watching Power Stone because it's an arena game, right? You just run around. It's like Smash Brothers, but you're in a square space and you move 3D instead of having it be a 2D platformer kind of thing. But you just run around, you jump, you pick up items, you try to do stuff, but it's designed in such a way, and I wasn't sure exactly the details between Power Stone 1 and 2, but you can turn off some items that are just kind of stupid, and so it ends up being fairly strategic, and like me and David were just legit getting hype about it. Oh yeah, they did play CFJ at one point in time too. Yes, we did see that. But me and David were getting hype about it. We were just like, oh yeah, like, oh, it's so cool. Like, oh, nice dodging. And, oh yeah, you can tell that there's like distress. Because like neither of us really know Power Stone, but we get the idea of it. And both David and I just appreciate watching people adapt and get stronger and stuff. And we could clearly see that happening. And we were just like, a cat is rubbing on my leg. We could see them, and I was just talking about like, God, we need a Power Stone 3. Like, and I started talking about Outfoxies, because I always bring up Outfoxies when I talk about Power Stone. If you guys have never seen Outfoxies before, really cool game, not particularly competitive, but great concept. Like, conceptually, I think it's a great game. And if they did a Power Stone 3 that was like an Outfoxies in 3D, like, it would just be sick. And we were just like talking about it all over the place. And after the tournament was done, the guys who ran the Power Stone like side tournament at CEO, like the main TO, and like the maybe top NA player of Power Stone, like came up to us and they were like, bro, like, thank you guys. They were like, you were so hyped talking about the game. You were so excited. And like when you talked about Power Stone 3, we were like, keep talking, James, keep talking. And they were so excited about it. And I was talking to them and, getting an idea of how they run the events and all this stuff like that. And they were like, bro, like, oh, like there was just all this conversation. It was like really, really cool to see this scene that was so hyped for Power Stone. And it really made me feel good that I felt like we really did it kind of justice. Because they were saying like, yeah, your guys' commentary was great. They were like, you might not have known the game, but everything you described was right. You guys could figure everything out, and you sounded hype and excited, and were excited about the right things and stuff. And they were like, we loved that, and they were like, we really appreciate that. So I'm gonna try to keep in contact with them, and talk to them more about stuff. Crap, I'm so bad with names. He gave me his Twitter. Oh, he followed me, so I should be able to find him on my follower list. But yeah, it's just like really cool. It was really cool. And yeah, I would love to see a Power Stone 3, honestly. I think it would be really, really cool. Like, make a serious competitive Power Stone 3 with like super interactive stages and stuff like that. I think it would be sick. Hi, Nathan. You want to meow for people? Meow. 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 No meows. Little kitty. Yeah, I was talking to them about Project Justice as well, because I've been following a little bit more of Project Justice, etc., etc. Yeah, the primordial pouch, yes. He has a massive primordial pouch. So while he is a chunk, he's not as fat as he looks. Because if I dip him in the bathtub, like, he shrinks. He definitely shrinks. But yeah, so I had a great time at CEO, honestly. It's probably the most fun I've had at an event in a long time for many reasons. One, like I said, I was able to run into a lot of people. Two, I never felt like I couldn't just run down to the market and buy a drink anytime I wanted to. The venue was great. commentary blocks went really well. There was a lot of wonderful storylines, etc., etc. And so about those storylines, let's actually talk about these storylines finally, after I've already been talking about CEO for an hour. How do I do this? How does this happen to me every time? I'm always like, I can't possibly talk about CEO for that long, you know? But obviously, like, Street Fighter 6, I mean, great tournament here. Really, really cool tournament here. First place went to, where is the tab? There it is. First place went to Lashar. And this is really interesting here because everybody's been talking about Lashar as like, yeah, this is the guy. Like this is gonna be the next guy. Like we have to watch out for this guy. And despite everyone saying that, including Tokido, including like Logan, including like, you know, all just the commentators and players and everybody just talking Lashar up. Up until this year, he hasn't really won a big one. Like he's won Korea regionals and stuff like that. You know, obviously he moved to Japan to get better, but like everybody could see that he was super good. But like there was always like when I did the recap of Combo Breaker, I was talking about this. You know, like he never has quite won the big one, and then he won Combo Breaker. And everyone's like, oh, there we go. Lashar finally getting the big one. And then he won CEO. So he got first place at CEO this past weekend as well. So we might be running into the era of Lashar at this point. This might be a real thing at this point now. And funny thing is that he won a lot with Mai in both tournaments, and he also was able to defeat NL, who got in second place, when he switched to Terry. Because NL, by the way, was playing on fire. Normally, you know, when you see NL, like you can see the glimpses are always there, but he always falls a little short. But this past weekend, he was playing out of his mind. Like you could just tell this guy has been studying and practicing, and he was just on point with everything. I mean, he dismantled Punk, okay? Punk, who got third place. Punk, who was basically destroying everybody up to that point. The only person Punk lost to was NL 2 times. He got double jeopardied by NL. But outside of that, Punk was just rolling through everybody. And NL was the only one who was able to defeat him. So the fact that NL then went and fought Lashar, reset the bracket, and was looking super strong. And Lashar's Mai and Ed, I don't remember if he played both or just one of them, but they weren't working against NL Zakuma. And then he switched to Terry. NL was up 2-1, I think, in the second set. And then Lashar switched to Terry and just won 2 in a row, if I'm not mistaken, if I have my memory correct. And Lashar ended up taking it over NL. But NL played fantastic. I mean, he was right there. Like either of them could have taken it. And so NL, you know, was tweeting like, I came so close, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, bro, dude, you have nothing to be ashamed of. You can only come away from this tournament being really proud of how you played, dude. Like, great job, great job, great job. So, yeah, okay, so he did play Ed once, that's right. But yeah, like I said, Punk in third place, Zen in fourth place. Does Zen have a picture of Daigo? What the heck? Hang on a second. Is that... He does. Zen's profile picture on Start GG is Daigo. The hell? Oh god, that guy's a troll. Zen is such a troll, I swear to god. Oh my god. Ryukichi at 5th, and again, Ryukichi, he has just been killing it at every single tournament. With Ken, he is just... Ryukichi's awesome. He's so fun to watch. But 7th place was Kills You from France, but tied for 5th place was Crime from Chile, and Not Pedro from Brazil. And Crime is 14 years old, I believe. And Not Pedro is 19 years old. And man, like, these South American kids are kind of insane because we saw what Blas did. Now, obviously, Blas was also in this tournament. Where did he finish? He finished 9th, so he was just outside of the top 8. 9th place was Blas, Knuckledew, Cien, Ending Walker. 13th place was Chris Wong, Boosly, Riddles, Hikaru. And then tied for 17th place, or tied for, 17th place, we had Sahara, who's a Japanese player, Aqua, Kaba, Tokido, Juicy Joe, Chris G, Latif, Kings Vega. There was a lot of parity from everywhere, but one of the funniest moments, and in my opinion, just like one of the absolute most wholesome moments of that entire tournament. Let me see if I can find the clip of it really quick, because I know I should have it here because I retweeted it. So let me get to that in a second. But it's just the funniest thing because it's actually gotten to a point now where it's actually like blasphemy to skip the intro of Street Fighter 6 where they're walking towards the ring and the song is the yeah, started from the bottom and you know what, I don't even know the lyrics. Yeah, like everybody loves that thing because it's like the audience participation. They actually get to kind of like participate along with it, kind of like the Cell scream, right? The Cell yell from DBFZ. Like you skip the intro and don't let people go with Cell. Like people get mad. And so started from the bottom and never looking back. Okay, thank you, Fabolo. Very important things. Thank you. I really appreciate that. No, genuinely, I'm not even joking. But so at one point in time in the top 8, by the way, not Pedro, when he qualified for top 8, just started bawling. Like he was crying. Again, 19 years old, making to the top 8 onto the stage over here. And not Pedro was just having like the time of his life, man. He was just having a great time. And so I'm going to show this clip. Not Pedro's on the top and Cryme is on the bottom. So this is them fighting here in the top 8. And this happened. It's hard to hear, but I'll try to explain it if you can't hear it really clearly here. So I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit here. So it might be a little loud, so I apologize ahead of time. Just be prepared for potentially loud. So here we go.
When it comes to training mode versus an actual match, it still pays homage.
Well, let's talk about a match, though. Hey, quiet down back there. Come on.
So if you guys don't know, I don't know if you guys can hear the booing in the background. I don't know if we could hear the booing in the background, but basically what happened was
Your reactions when it comes to training mode versus an actual match,
and then
it
they
still
skipped it,
pays
and the audience started going boo, and I don't think Yipes realized what happened.
homage.
Well, let's talk about a match, though. Hey, quiet down back there. Come on. Quiet down back there. We got some good Street Fighter, but make some noise, though, if y'all love this ride, you and Ken.
Now, I want you to see something here. As soon as the audience started booing, watch Not Pedro on the top right over here. Watch him on the top right there.
Talk about a match, though. Hey, quiet down back there. Come on. Quiet down back there. We got some good Street Fighter, but make some noise, though, if y'all love this ride, you and Ken, man. It's for the culture right here.
I get it. They want to chant yeah. That's what it comes down to.
Oh, the people want to? Oh, these guys are showmen.
They know. They want to chant yeah. Who doesn't? Capcom did a great job on putting that there.
Dude.
Right on.
It was
we're not
so
gonna get it.
wholesome.
Oh, there it
Like
is.
they're just giving high fives to each other, and then
Yeah.
look at Not Pedro's like, come
Yeah.
on, and then Cryman joins
Yeah.
in. Dude, this was such a freaking
You know what?
wholesome
I ain't gonna
moment.
front. That grew
Seeing
on me after
them
a while.
like
It's
that
great.
I
and
ain't
just
gonna
like
front.
high fiving
They
each
know,
other at
they
this
wanna
point.
These
Like,
guys are showmen.
They know. They want to chant yeah.
dude, it's so funny because as soon as I saw them do this, I was like, where am I? Am I at the Classic Tetris World Championships? You know? Because it was like 2 kids under 20 years old competing against each other, still high-fiving and having a great time. Am I at CTWC? But it's so great because I mean, look, they're just like we're young, we're having such a
That's what
good
it comes down
time.
to.
Oh, the people want. These guys are showmen.
They know. They want to chant, yeah, yeah, yeah. Who doesn't? Capcom did a great job on putting that there.
I told one of the
Right on.
representatives from Capcom, I
Oh, we're
was
not
like,
gonna get it. Oh, there it is.
I don't even know if the devs probably predicted that this was
Yeah.
gonna happen. So,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, what a great moment, dude!
You know what?
I
ain't
loved
gonna front.
this.
That grew on me.
I loved seeing this moment. Oh my god, it was so good. Oh boy, it was so funny, dude. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that, Dan FNP. We'll talk about that in a little bit. That was really cool. That was a great moment. I loved that. And it was also, you know, part of it is like, okay, it's that kind of that youthful energy, right? Like they're just having the freaking time of their life, right? Like, yeah, is making all that money important to them and blah, 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 blah. But like, they're just kind of soaking it in, right? I mean, it's kind of unfair to say this, but it's true. Like, when you're an adult and you're like trying to pay for your own shit, like things get serious, dude. Like you're just like, I need to win this money. I need to win this money. Holy crap. And you know, but you know, when you still have that like kind of childlike energy where you can just enjoy stuff like this, it's just so great to see. It's just, yeah. And it's not even just to show up the veterans because I don't think that they're having a great time and enjoying this because they beat people. I think they're having a great time and enjoying it because, like, holy shit, I'm playing video games and people are cheering me on. How sick is this, right? Honestly, that's just what it really comes down to. So, yeah, so for Street Fighter 6, obviously, you know, while the biggest story was Lashar just asserting dominance and NL really, really, like, leveling up a lot. And then, honestly, like, Punk, like I said, he looked like his unstoppable self again. And the only person he lost to was NL, who, like I said, was playing like literally beyond anything I've ever seen him play, you know? So those top three were clearly the strongest players there that weekend. Was excited to see. But yeah, the Crime, the not Pedro thing, and like I said, Blas getting 9th place, and I definitely tweeted this out, and it kind of went viral, but Crime, not Pedro, and Blas, if you add their ages together, I am still older than all three of them combined. Oh man, crap. It's a different world out there, man. It's a different world. Oh, man. Yeah, I saw you responding to Halu. I saw you responding. I need to eat them and gain their power? Holy crap, that went kind of dark. Oh, man. But yeah, no, I mean, again, just great stuff over there. And then, it's weird because between Evo Japan, Combo Breaker, and now this CEO, we've had 3 tournaments in a row of marriage proposals. Obviously at Evo Japan was Olaf and Kitty. They didn't do it in front of the big audiences or anything like that, but at Combo Breaker, there was an engagement, a proposal on the stage, and then I don't remember if it was during or after Tekken 8, there was another proposal that happened. Gosh, I had the names. Where did I put the names? Oh no, where did I put the names? Okay, I lost the names. Crap. I had the names of the couple that got engaged, but I closed the tab apparently. So, but yeah, you know, they got to propose on the stage, which was really, really cool. And tournaments don't stop being weird because apparently an online player who does really well in ranked on Tekken 8 named Joe Budden, I think it is, showed up in a Doctor Doom costume. And so a lot of people were saying he was just a ranked monster, that I guess the story is that, you know, that people told me he wouldn't ever do well offline tournaments. and he showed up and he beat a Pakistani player. Again, it was very close. It was like 3-2, 3-2, I think both sets, but he won. And like he pulled out some toilet paper and kept like pointing to Ultrasoft like at the camera. Then apparently what he tried to do was head into the back, probably to like talk to the commentators and talk some smack or something like that. But you're not allowed back there, okay? You are not allowed behind the stage. Like, that's just the rules. And apparently one of the stage managers was trying to prevent him from going back there. And like he actually like fought his way through the stage manager, but when he couldn't get to the commentary table, apparently he threw the toilet paper at Markman and Spooky, who were commentating at the time. They took it, with good sport, whatever. It's toilet paper. No one's getting hurt or anything like that. But he did have to actually be kicked out of the tournament. He had to have been kicked out of the tournament. Because you're just not allowed back there, right? It wasn't even about throwing anything at the commentators. It was just that he tried to fight his way behind stage, and that is just not good. Especially if you are told you can't go back there and you actually physically fight your way back there, not a good look. I don't think it was like, no, Markman and Spooky didn't care. Like, they didn't happen. And I don't think anybody really cared. Like, nobody was really mad, but like, you break the rules, you have to suffer the consequences. It's just how it works, right? You break the rules, you have to suffer the consequences. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. It was Convicted of Fun and Ferrero. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that last one. But I hope I pronounced it right. But yes, they got engaged. It was really cool to see. I looked at some of their tweets, and Convicted of Fun was just saying that people were going up to him and congratulating them like constantly for the rest of the weekend and stuff. Really, really cool. But yes, rules are rules. Like, you push your way behind the stage, you're done. That's just it. You have to be ejected. And so he was ejected. So we weren't sure how far he would have actually made it through the tournament. But that's just how it goes. So, Joe Budden had flipped on. If it does go against the tournament rules, obviously that's a problem. So yeah, I don't know if that's the case for Tekken World Tour, all that stuff. So I'm not really sure. Okay, so you can get ejected for that. Well, yeah, then. Obviously, kind of loose cannon. Definitely a loose cannon type of personality, it seems like. But I'm sad that like that's the main story that I'm going to be talking about for Tekken. But obviously, I did not get a chance to watch any of the top 8 of Tekken because I was commentating CVS 2 at the time. So I didn't have a lot of what was going on in the storyline. But Atif from Pakistan did end up winning the tournament. Ulsan in second, and Arslan Ash in third, Jian Ding in fourth, and Farzin in fifth. So yeah, 3 Pakistani players in first, third, and tied for fifth. Again, extremely impressive. And then second was Korea. Is Ulsan Korean? No, he's Japanese. Oh no, he is Korean. Oh, so DNF, I guess, actually sponsors players in, God, stupid Start GG. I click on a person's name, and then I click back, and it doesn't change. It just doesn't change. And so I can't go back anymore. Oh, I hate this. How do I really hate this stupid thing. So Ulsan, Jeonding, Mayo Il, I think, is also from Korea. Yeah. And then Edge from Korea. So yeah, so we had 3 Pakistani players, 4 Korean players, and I think 1, oh no, that's not even a Japanese player. Yagami is listed from being from Australia? Oh, wait, I always thought Yagami was from Japan. Okay, in any case, on start.gg he has Australia listed there, so somebody can let me know. But Okay. John Ding versus Arslan Ash. Okay, I'll see if I can check that. I even promised I was gonna watch all the combo breaker matches on stream with everybody, which I haven't done yet. So, since I have a break, I've had an event the last 4 weekends. So I've been very tired, but I have a nice little break now, so I will be trying to stream a lot more of that and such. So we could definitely watch. So storyline is Atif won CEO last year and got a ton of second places and never won after that. Is CEO curse gonna repeat for him again? Okay. Okay, he's Japanese, but he lives in Australia. Okay.
Hi. I know you're hungry.
Cool. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like, definitely some domination here because who was the highest placing American slash EU player? So in 7th place was Edge and Yagami, and then in 9th was Chikurin, Lowhigh, CBM, and Tibetano. Tibetano is from Spain. So the highest placing Western player was from Europe, from Spain. And then in 13th place, we have Shadow 20Z, and then iMusician Korean. Kwis is EU from the UK. AO is from Japan. Khan, I believe, is from Pakistan. And then, where did it go? No, stupid start.gg. Goodness gracious. Rang Chu, King Ray Jr., obviously from Florida. But yeah, clearly right now, this is a Pakistan versus Korea game right now. Like, I feel like that's kind of one of the amazing tournament. I don't know Jack Forrest. I'm clicking on the names here. Like, where's AO from? Oh, he's from Tokyo, Japan. Okay, like, I'm not taking credit for that, okay? I'm not taking credit for that. Can I teach someday how to play footsies the right way? God, I have all these first attack videos where I'm trying to teach footsies and I just never like finish it. But I can definitely talk about it a little bit in a future stream, Ryder. If you just show up into one of my streams and I'm like watching tournaments or if I'm playing a game or something like that, and if you're just like, hey, James, can you teach us footsies? I can give you the 101 version of footsies. Footsies goes super deep, takes a lot of explanation, but I can definitely do kind of like a footsies 101, which will probably last like 3 hours. But you know, that's just how my brain works. So, but then also Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. Obviously, everybody trying really hard to qualify to EWC for some of that prize money, but also for the SNK World Championships, where that grand prize of $1.5 million is just chilling there. But it's crazy because, again, at a Christmas party, like with for like a gaming company throws a Christmas party every year, and I'm invited every year, so I went there. And one of the guys that I talked to over there was part of like Xiaohai's team from China. And so I was like, oh, Xiaohai must be super eager for City of the Wolves, right? And he was like, Xiaohai doesn't really play Fatal Fury. So a lot of people think that, oh, Xiaohai, it's just because he's good at KOF doesn't mean he's going to be good at, and then Xiaohai's winning everything. So, I need to find that guy and call him a liar that he lied to me. But Xiaohai, I mean, ridiculous. First place again, winning the Billy Mirror against Nemo in grand finals of all things over there. But for me, the most important story there was Koji KOG. So because Xiaohai had already qualified, getting to EWC was going to be the top 2 placers of the tournament. Xiaohai was already in, and so for the 3rd, 4th place matchup, Koji KOG had to fight ET. And if you guys don't know who Koji KOG is, Japanese player, he's cosplayed as T-Hawk while playing T-Hawk in Street Fighter 4. really, really silly guy. Likes to like just do a lot of crazy things for his intro video, for his intro into the ring for Fatal Fury. I think he just came in like to T-Hawk music and he was like doing T-Hawk poses and stuff like that. He was, I mean, he's just the silliest, like most fun-loving guy, like most unserious guy. Really, really great. As soon as he beat E.T., like, he lost it. Oh, the Tager God. Okay. He just started crying. Like bawling after he qualified. Like, man. Like, it's just one of those things that you watch and, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, wait, it's just a game, blah, 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 blah. Why are you taking so... Dude,